Hi all, so this is part two of my project with my madcap idea of making a car that can do 200 mile an hour. I've actually come to a few decisions, so this one is about some of the decisions. Before I start talking about the decisions I've made, massive thanks to all these people who have commented and come up with ideas and suggestions and things from the first video. As I said on this one, um, you know, it's a big thing I'm trying to do, and there are lots of holes in my knowledge. So if anyone's watching this that can fill in some of those holes, it would be absolutely great. So please keep the feedback coming. Also, I'll be posting this onto Facebook groups again. If possible, please comment on YouTube, because then all the comments are together and I can go back and review and get the details and all that sort of stuff as and when I move along with this. So the first decision that I've come to, a really important one, it's the name of the project. So when I built the Exo Booster, I was always calling it SFC for Stupidly Fast Car. This one is going to be called Project Exo 200. It's fairly straightforward. So the car itself I'm going to be calling a PX200. And that is about as far as decisions have got so far. I've been finding out loads and loads about different engines. As I mentioned before with all this stuff, so I'm autistic, and one of the really good things about being autistic is you tend, once you've kind of got, like a dog with a bone, once you've got an interest in something, you just research and research and research. Shame I could never get an interest in any schoolwork. I could have probably done really well, but I did all right. But anyway, so looking at engines, unless you're going to tell me I'm wrong, it seems the Honda K series engines are the one to go for. Specifically a K24, so 24 being the 2.4 litre A2 or JDM. From everything I can understand, they're basically the same engine, but if any UK series fans out there can tell me any different, please let me know. I'd much rather find out now before I've bought an engine than when I bought an engine and stripped it down and rebuilt and all that kind of thing. But everything I'm reading about these things, they seem to be, I mean, it seems ridiculous. Whether it's Facebook and YouTube nonsense, I don't know. But basically, these YouTube channels are telling me that I can buy an engine with 100,000 miles on it. Don't even open it up. Don't even put rings and new big ends on. No, 100,000 mile engine. Buy a turbo kit. Buy a standalone ECU. Bang the turbo up until it's knocking out, a bar or so, and you've got 500-600 horsepower, and it will be reliable all day long. Well, to me, please tell me, am I wrong? That does sound a bit too good to be true to me. However, it certainly does seem to be the way to go. I'll discuss in a minute this new Ariel that's come out, but they're using a K engine, and they probably have a lot more time to research it than I do. So there we are. So decision one, we've got a name. Decision two, we've got an engine. Unless you tell me any different, that would be the engine I use. One of the things with that engine as well is they're not that cheap. They seem to be about £1,000 for a used one. So it's not too bad, but we're not talking £100 from a scrappy sort of thing. But because there's so many variants on them, the A2 is the popular one, hence it costs a lot more. But you can also get the non-popular ones, which are about 150 horsepower, quite cheap. So it may even be a case I might build the car with one of those in there just to get it going and shake down and get through the IVA and all that sort of thing. And then I can bang in the better engine. You know, it kind of as and when it's ready kind of thing, but to keep initial costs down rather than investing a whole load of money right up front, then that might be the way to go. Again, I'm after feedback here. That's an awful lot. What I'm trying to do at the moment is feedback. Please feedback. Please feedback. Also, I know this all sounds a bit sad, but please like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And if you've got any mates who are into this sort of stuff, into car building, fabrication, pipe bending, tube bending, welding, know about these K engines, please share this channel with them and let's see if we can get them involved. I'm really keen to sort of get a bit of a community thing going here. Anyway, since the last video, I was watching a whole load of the Goodwood stuff, and Ariel seemed to have released a new car which seems to answer a few of the questions. So we will change over to me doing a bit of a waffle on their new car. So this is certainly interesting to me for the project. So the Atom, this new Atom has come out, and they're reckoning on 400 horsepower and 170 miles an hour. And looking at that, you know, straight away my mind is thinking of my project and thinking, well, if all this stuff was covered in a simple alley sheet or polycarb or something like that, how much better would the aero be? And if that was covered and you tuned that engine a little bit more, so as we're up at 500 horsepower, would that be enough to crack 200? I wouldn't have thought it's far off. Because my last video, or my first video on this subject, I think may have misled people a little bit. My plan is to build an exo car, but as a one-off to try and get it to 200 miles an hour. I know it's going to need like modifications to the body, so it's not going to look quite like an Ariel because I purposely don't want it to. But if I was to use an Ariel as an example, my plan would be to cover that part and also cover where the passenger seat is in some form to try and give it a little bit more aero. I also think, where are we looking? Obviously I might need some wing because I'll have monitors on there actually. I'm an electronic engineer, so one of the things I can do fairly easily is have front and rear like a height sensor, so as if it starts lifting I know to shut off quick. But again, you see with this, you know, covering over these bits, taking the lights off, taking the mirrors off, and the wheel arches, I'm kind of thinking whether it'd be a permanent arch like that or just a temporary for this sort of fast speed thing, is to do arches a bit like those Formula E cars have, where they're, you know, because at the moment you're presenting a flat tyre, you know, like a brick to the wind there, which I would have thought's quite easy to improve on. And I plan on having I don't know what the Ariel has this hole for at the front, but basically all enclosed there, so it's a bit more of a slippery front at the shape. Anyway, that's sort of my thoughts on that, and I thought that is actually quite interesting time that's popped up, because it's sort of showing 400 horsepower, and I believe Honda use the K engine for these. I'd love to know where they get those carbon wheels, but I don't think they'd be within my budget. Yeah, it's quite interesting that's popped up at the moment, because it has helped me think where I was thinking, oh, there's no way I can do this, to actually
Well, maybe it is possible.
So what do you think? Am I talking rubbish? Am I making huge assumptions? Am I totally wrong? I want to hear. It would be nice to hear say, yeah, I think it might work, but anyway. And that's it for this one. I hope to sort of do updates every couple of weeks on this project, but obviously at this sort of stage, it's not much other than me going blah 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 blah. So I will only do blah 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 when I've got something to say. Hope to see you soon. Cheers. Bye. Hi. Thanks for getting to the end of the video. If you're not already subscribed, please do so now. Just hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell button, and that way YouTube will tell you when there's any new videos. We've got some big plans ahead for the channel, including possibly a car build from scratch. So if you want to get involved with that, now's the time to subscribe. Cheers then, bye.